It's late, and the rain taps against the windows like 1,000 whispered secrets. Inside the dimly lit study, a creaking door swings open on its own, revealing Jennifer. She's frozen among towering bookshelves, her face streaked with tears, dust settling on her trembling hands. The scent of aged paper mixes with the sharp spike of panic rising in her chest. Outside, rain drums against glass, echoing her pounding heart. Can she trust what she's been told? Is her entire story someone else's version of the truth? As tension tightens every muscle, a fragile whisper from her grandmother's last letter hints at secrets so profound they could shatter everything Jennifer thought she knew about her family and herself. A family legacy turned battlefield, an inheritance that feels more like a curse, and a dark past hiding behind the veneer of wealth and respectability. Every shadow looks like a question. What's real? Who's lying? And how deep does the deception go? Jennifer's journey isn't just about a house or a will. It's about discovering the roots of her identity, uncovering truths that threaten to unmake her, revealing that sometimes the most vital inheritance isn't gold or land, but the truth we've been afraid to face. She's prepared to fight for her grandmother's wishes and her own place in a family that might not be what it seems. Because if she doesn't, who will? Who's holding the secrets, lurking just beneath the surface, and what will it take for her to finally stand in the light of her own truth? When every clue calls into question her very worth, Jennifer knows this isn't just a battle for inheritance. It's a fight to claim her real story. And she's about to find out that sometimes the truth is the only thing that can set you free. The room was heavy with silence, and the air felt thick, like a storm just waiting to break. Jennifer Blackwell's hand trembled as she hovered over the sealed envelope. Her grandmother's handwriting scrawled across it. For Jennifer, when you're ready. The dim glow of the family vault flickered with a ghostly hum. Outside, rain whispers against the glass, a scent of wet earth seeping in. She could feel her pulse pounding, a wild drum echoing her racing thoughts. Someone had left a secret behind, something worth killing for. Was it buried deep within that envelope? Or was someone lurking behind that door, watching her every move? Her breath caught. The silence stretched, almost taunting her. Can she finally uncover the truth, or does this mark the end of her pursuit? Because if she opens this, everything might change. Forever. The estate was quiet, almost ominous, except for the faint creak of the old house settling. I stood in the dim light of the library, clutching the letter that grandmother left me, a message she promised would change everything. She'd always believed I was different, that I'd see beyond the surface. But now, with her gone, I wondered if I'd been right to trust her gut. My fingers trembled as I fought to open the faded envelope. Inside, a single sheet of yellowed paper, handwritten, trembling with age. The words, they could unravel my entire life. A secret buried so deep it could destroy what little we have left of the family legacy. Just as I read the first line, something cold brushed my shoulder. I froze. The room's shadows seemed to breathe. A whisper echoed from the darkness. You're not supposed to find that. My heart pounded. Who's lurking in the shadows? Watching? Waiting? I realized I'm not alone in this, and whatever's waiting out there, it's threatening to expose a truth that someone desperately wants to stay buried. The question is, will I uncover it, no matter the cost, or is this the moment I finally lose everything? I remember sitting in that cafe, the scent of burnt coffee mixed with the city's cold air. My mom's face was shadowed, her eyes glassy like she'd been fighting tears all morning. She finally said, I never wanted you to find out this way. Her fingers twisted her wedding band with nervous trembles, like it was anchoring her to some truth she couldn't escape. Your father, Douglas, he's not your real father, she admitted, voice barely a whisper. Everything felt frozen. My mind spun, questions crashing into each other. Was it true? Had I been living a lie? She told me about James, her first love before Douglas, a passionate, reckless youth chasing dreams across the country. Then came the day he left, and her life took a different turn. Yet, part of her had always wondered, what if things were different? As she unraveled the story, my head was spinning. The past was a tangle of secrets, heartbreak, and what-ifs. I'd always thought I knew my family. Turns out the roots ran deeper, darker. Was this what I'd been prepared for, or just the start of a storm I couldn't control? Because once the truth surfaces, there's no going back. The rain had been relentless all morning, tapping softly against the window while my fingers trembled over the legal stack in front of me. Sweaty palms, a racing heart. I didn't need a crystal ball to know what I'd discover would change everything. As I scrolled through the faded ink of an old affidavit, something caught my eye. A signature, unfamiliar but unmistakable. Human blood ran cold. It was linked to my grandmother's estate. But to who? It was a name I'd never seen before, long thought dead, buried with family secrets I'd convinced myself I knew. I pressed my fingertips to the paper, inhaling the scent of musty age and candle wax. Everything around me grew dim. My breath hitched. What if this wasn't just a typo? What if my entire identity, my future, was wrapped in lies, even more twisted than I'd believed? The face of the hero I'd admired, so familiar, suddenly flickered, fading into shadows. And in that flicker, I saw it, the chilling truth that I might be someone else entirely. My world, everything I thought I was, shattered in a heartbeat. Could it be possible? Did I truly come from someone else? My mind spiraled. The pages trembled in my grasp, darkness swirling at the edges. I had to know, and as I stared down that signature, a question seared through me. How deep do the roots of this family tree go, and what am I really fighting for? Jennifer's fingers trembled as she held that faded photograph, the one she discovered deep in her grandmother's old chest. The room's dim glow flickered, and the scent of rain pressed against the window pane. Her heart hammered. What she saw challenged everything she'd believed about her identity. The woman in the photo wasn't her grandmother. It was someone she recognized from her childhood, her own face, in a different life. Suddenly, the family inheritance, the betrayal her relatives whispered about, none of it mattered. If her roots were lies, what else could be false? Her breath hitched, a turbulent mix of shock and dread swelling inside her. Memories, long buried, reassembled in her mind, the secrets she'd never dared imagine. The room grew silent except for the distant rustle of leaves outside. Her gaze stayed fixed on the photo, a fragile hope flickering in her eyes. The real story lurked just beneath the surface. Her past was a puzzle missing pieces, and now that missing part stared back at her. How deep did these lies run? Could she trust anything she'd been told, or was this merely the beginning of a storm she couldn't control? Her heartbeat quickened, each breath sharp. She knew one thing for sure. If the truth was buried, she'd dig until she found it. Because tonight, everything was about to change. As Jennifer stared into the shadows, question after question hammered through her mind. How much of her life had been a lie? Was her family hiding more than secrets? Was she even who she thought she was? It felt like a betrayal from her own skin. With trembling hands, she clutched the photo tighter. The past and present collided in a single, raw moment of revelation. No turning back now. The rain outside echoed her own storm, an unrelenting quest for truth. The walls around her felt both safe and suffocating. She knew she had to push forward, no matter the cost. The past had just whispered its darkest secret, and she would be the one to uncover every truth, no matter how painful. Her story had just taken a staggering twist, one that might redefine everything she believed about herself, her family, her future. The question wasn't just who she was, it was who she was truly meant to be. And that answer lay hidden beneath decades of lies, waiting to be uncovered. Jennifer's hand trembled as she reached out, her fingertips grazing the faded photograph. The paper was thin, brittle, whispering secrets with every rustle. The scent of old linen and lavender clung faintly to her fingertips, transporting her back. Quiet afternoons at her grandmother's house, where shadows danced across the walls and whispers of family secrets lingered just beneath the surface. Her breath hitched. The memory of laughter, once so vivid, now felt distant and fragile, like a ghost slipping through her grasp. In that flicker of a moment, her mind flooded, distant laughter echoing in a sunlit kitchen, hushed confessions whispered late at night, shadows loomed over her childhood innocence. Was all of it a lie? The family inheritance, the whispers of betrayal, were they just facades for something darker? She stared deeper into the photo, trying to see beyond the surface, feeling the weight of her own uncertainty pressing down. The air was thick with rain scent and leaf rustle outside, but inside, her world was silent, except for her pounding heart. Every question she'd feared, now screaming for answers. How deep did the deception run? Could she even trust her own memories, or was this just the beginning of a storm she'd never seen coming? Her hope flickered, small but fierce, daring her to push forward. If the truth hid behind layers of lies, she'd rip through them, no matter what it took. Her story was no longer just about family, it was about identity. Justice. Facing the darkness that had shadowed her entire life. No more hiding, no more pretending. Because tonight, everything was about to change. Her past, her roots, her very sense of self, hanging in the balance. Every step forward was a step toward uncovering what had been buried for decades. The storm was coming, and Jennifer was ready to face it. The room is dense with shadows, flickering candlelight dancing across Jennifer's tense face, casting an eerie glow that seems alive with secrets. Her hand trembles as she clutches the unopened envelope, the last piece of her truth, her fingers trembling not just from nerves, but from the weight of what's to come. Outside, the city hums with a distant, indifferent buzz, but inside she feels a different kind of silence. Thick, oppressive, deafening. Her eyes dart repeatedly to the door, as if expecting someone to step through at any moment. The faint, familiar whisper of a voice calls her name from the darkness, barely audible but enough to make her freeze. It raises an unanswered question she's too afraid to voice. Did someone else know what she was about to uncover? Are they watching her every move? The tension coils tighter, the shadows flicker. Was her entire story about to change forever, or was she walking straight into a trap? Venturing into the unknown, she's driven by a hunger for the truth, even if that truth threatens to destroy everything she's ever believed. All that's certain now is the silence, broken only by her heartbeat pounding loud enough to drown out the faint rustle of leaves outside, the scent of rain lingering in the air. In that moment, she knows her life is teetering on the edge, 1 foot over the abyss. Whatever awaits beyond the door, she's ready, because in that darkness she's finally about to find herself. And then, just as her fingers finally touch the envelope, there's a faint, almost ghostly whisper of her name again. No other sound. No footsteps. Just the whisper, rippling through the shadows. Her breath hitches painfully tight, her eyes widen. The universe feels suspended, waiting. Because she knows, in that very moment, everything can flip, change, shatter. Did someone else already know her secrets? Could she be a step too late? Or was this just the beginning of a revelation she'd never survive? The storm outside has only started to brew, but inside, Jennifer's own tempest is about to explode. She's not backing down. Not now. Not ever. Tonight, I stand at the edge of everything I thought I knew. The porch creaks softly beneath my feet. the air thick with the scent of lavender fading from my grandmother's garden. Long ago, it was her sanctuary, her secret place. Shadows dance over the peeling paint, and a faint breeze stirs memories. Childhood innocence, laughter echoing across the yard, now tangled with whispers of betrayal. A photograph tugs in my mind, her gentle smile, a voice whispering in my ear. "You're stronger than you think, Jennifer. The truth is waiting. It's yours to find." Breath-catching, I clutch an envelope that holds my future and my past. Inside, the last piece of her story, sealed tight. Outside, the city hums, indifferent, but inside, my heart pounds louder than ever. Did someone already know what I'm about to learn? Is someone watching? The shadows flicker, and suddenly, everything feels like it could shatter. Yet, I step forward. The truth, no matter how dark, is a scared girl's only chance. Because even in the silence, there's a storm waiting to break, and I've never been more ready to face it. I remember that afternoon like it was yesterday. The sunlight spilled through the cracks in the windows, casting long golden shadows across the worn wooden floor of my grandmother's tiny house. The air carried a faint scent of lavender, mixed with the worn pages of old family albums, memories and secrets tangled together. I gently ran my fingers over her jewelry box, its faded carvings telling stories I'd only begun to understand. A soft voice echoed in my mind, whispering truths buried deep beneath layers of silence. "The past never stays buried forever," she'd said. I felt a shiver run down my spine. That day, I saw the pieces of my identity slipping into place, every fragment echoing with possibility and danger. I'd come to find out who I really was, but I also knew revealing the truth might shatter everything. Now, as I stand here, I wonder, was someone else already awake, watching? Did they know what I'd discover, or was this moment only the start? Because deep down, I get it. Once you peel back the layers, once you get close to the core, everything can change. Painfully, suddenly, and here I am, ready to chase the truth. Even if it's dark, even if it hurts. Because in the silence, I know a storm is brewing, one that could swallow me whole, and I've never been more prepared to face it. The morning air was sharp, the kind that slices into your bones and makes everything feel just a little more real. Outside grandmother's mansion, Philadelphia's autumn magic painted the trees in blazing oranges and deep reds. I showed up early with James, our silent alliance, a fragile secret we weren't sure how to protect yet. Inside, Harrison Mills sat at the head of the sprawling dining table, leather portfolio open like he was ready to unveil some dark truth. The family gathered, faces tense, shoulders heavy with unspoken stories. Harrison broke the silence. "We need to discuss a delicate matter concerning succession." Douglas sat tall, a glint in his eye that said he already knew how this would shake out. His voice cut through the quiet with a calm that felt more like a blade. Certain beneficiaries in Eleanor Blackwell's will may not meet the bloodline requirements. My mom's fingers tightened around my hand beneath the table. I could feel her fight, her fear, like a shadow behind her calm. Harrison continued. "Eleanor's estate is divided. Some assets are hers alone, but the trust, created by her father, requires heirs to be blood descendants of the Blackwell line." Douglas leaned in, his voice smooth but deadly. "That's why Jennifer's claim is in question." He slid a folder across the table, cold, final, DNA result confirming what I already feared. I am not his daughter. Not truly. The words hung heavy in the air, a storm waiting to hit. Murmurs rippled through the room. My heartbeat quickened. The carefully built life, the inheritance I'd fought for, what was left of it now? James and I exchanged a look. The unspoken question. Can I still stand? Do I still belong? That moment, I realized revealing the truth might rip everything apart, but I wasn't ready to back down. Not yet. Because behind every family secret lies a dangerous story, one I was only beginning to understand. And if I want justice, I'll have to fight for it, no matter how much darkness I cross. Jennifer Blackwell's fingertips brushed the cold, worn surface of her grandmother's antique desk. The scent of lavender, faint but persistent, floated on the breeze from the garden outside, summer's warmth still lingering in the air, mixed with the distant hum of cicadas. She closed her eyes for a moment, and her mind drifted back. She remembered her grandma's gentle voice, narrating stories of family roots under the glow of flickering candlelight. Back then, Jennifer was just a girl, soaking in every word, clutching a worn locket tucked close to her chest, dreaming of a past she yearned to understand. Now, years later, that soft echo feels like a whisper from another life, a ghost echoing in her mind, stirring a tight knot of longing and mystery deep within. The secrets buried in her family's past, they're finally surfacing, brittle but downright irresistible. Her heart races as the weight of unanswered questions presses harder. Why did her grandmother keep so many stories locked away? Why does every clue point toward parts of herself she's yet to claim? The temptation to confront the truth is impossible to resist, even as it threatens to shatter everything she thought she knew. She felt that same pull again, fingertips trembling just slightly on the desk. What if revealing her family's secrets changes everything? How much of her identity is tied to lies, and how much to her real roots? That moment, standing there amidst the shadows of the past, she knew she wouldn't walk away. Not now. The answers are there, hidden in old letters, faded photographs, some quiet family betrayal she's just beginning to piece together. She's finally ready to face whatever darkness lurks in those whispers. She took a steadying breath. Sometimes, uncovering the truth means risking everything. But isn't that what it really means to be her own hero? To chase the fragile hope of justice, even if it's messy, unpredictable, and raw. Because if she doesn't, who will? And deep down, she knows. Her story is just starting, and the fight for her legacy, her identity, is only just beginning. Jennifer Blackwell's fingertips trace the edge of her grandmother's worn quilt. Faded floral patterns, threadbare but alive with memories. The dim candlelight flickers, casting shadows on the cluttered study, filled with stacks of old books, faded photographs, and unopened envelopes. A sudden rush of lavender and aged paper floods her senses, like childhood afternoons spent under her grandmother's gentle voice. The scent pulls her back. She sees the dusty journal sliding out from a hidden drawer, her grandmother's soft whisper echoing. Some secrets are buried deep, Jennifer, but they're yours to find. Her chest tightens. Lightning outside flickers. Rain begins to tap soft beats on the window. A family secret, thick with betrayal, begins to unravel. Can she really pierce through the deception, or will the truth tear apart what's left of her fragile identity? Her heart pounds as she leans in closer, ready to face whatever dark truths lie beneath those faded pages. The past's weight is heavy, but she's no stranger to fighting for what's right. Every clue, every whisper leads her closer, toward justice, toward herself. Are her roots truly lost, or buried beneath layers of lies? With trembling hands, she opens the first letter, her story just beginning. Because sometimes the only way forward is to face the ghosts that refuse to stay buried. Jennifer's fingertips brush the worn fabric of her grandmother's quilt, a tapestry thick with stories no one dared to tell. The scent, all lavender and faded paper, wraps around her like an old friend. A childhood memory surfaces. Her grandmother's voice, warm, soothing, telling stories by the crackling fire, shadows dancing on her face. The smell of baked bread mingles with the rustle of leaves outside the window, each gust whispering secrets. Suddenly, her breath catches. Something shifts in her chest, an echo of an unspoken family secret. silent, heavy, waiting. Could her roots be more tangled than she ever imagined? Is truth lurking in those dusty, unopened boxes of faded photographs and crumpled letters? A flash of lightning illuminates her thoughts. Maybe she's been chasing shadows. Maybe she's been running from what's buried beneath the surface of her family's legacy. Can she really piece it all together, or will the truth tear apart what's left of her fragile identity? Her heart pounds, but she leans in, ready, trembling, daring to confront whatever darkness awaits in the pages she's about to turn. She remembers her grandmother's soft voice whispering, "Some secrets are buried deep, Jennifer, but they're yours to find." The storm's rain begins to tap softly on the window, as if urging her to listen. Her fingers tighten on the letter, unsteady but determined. Inside those faded pages lies a story of betrayal, of love, of legacy, and a question that's been haunting her for years. Who is she really? And what will she do when she finally uncovers the truth? Every word, every secret promises to change everything she thought she knew. Her fight isn't over. Her story is just beginning. Jennifer Blackwell stands frozen in the dimly lit estate room. Her hand trembles just inches from a hidden compartment beneath her grandmother's dusty cedar chest. Outside, rain taps softly against cracked windows, like the world waiting to be shaken awake. A gust of cold air whispers through the open window, carrying a scent she hasn't tasted in years, lavender mixed with the faint, sharp tang of old paper. Her breath catches as she pries open the secret drawer, revealing a faded photograph and a crumpled note, yellowed with age. Her pulse quickens. What buried truth lies beneath these fragile pages? Why now? Could this be the final piece in her quest for justice? The explosion of doubt and hope collide. Her fight feels both fragile and fierce, yet she leans in, trembling but resolute. The darkness beckons. Will she finally crack her family's secrets open, or will they swallow her whole? The next word could change everything. The night stretched on, a quiet backdrop to the stories we shared, each word weaving threads of our fragile bond. I felt her presence, grandmother's steady gaze, her voice echoing softly, affirming that truth always finds its way to the surface. She'd set everything in motion. Confident justice would rise on its own. You don't have to fight every battle yourself, she seemed to say. Douglas's downfall wasn't born from my deeds, but from the cracks in his own mask. Decades of plotting to make me feel like an outsider. Yet, in the end, he was the true outsider, hiding secrets all along. The irony hit me like a sudden gust. So bitter, yet so pure. As I turned toward a future where my father actually wanted me in his life, I realized, beyond the inheritance, beyond the truth, it was love I'd uncovered all along. That was the gift I'd never expected, but now could finally claim.